Good morning. This is PJ, and a happy Saturday morning to you too. I'm here to play with watercolors. I'm expecting possibly a spectacular fail, maybe even a spectacular success. It just depends on what the art supplies do with the medium that I use. So let's dive in. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you on the other side. Hello, and thank you for being here. Today I'm going to be using the pattern of the wing chevrons from this book, but not actually the paper. So let's get started. What to use, what to use. We're going to need the kneadable eraser, the perfect pencil, and maybe even this mechanical eraser. And shoot, let's go all out. Let's use both mechanical erasers in case one doesn't work. I like this perfect pencil because from a utilitarian sense, it is perfect. You got your pencil cap to protect the point. You got your wood pencil barrel. You got your graphite. You got an eraser. And when the pencil gets short, the cap becomes a pencil extender. And when it gets dull, surprise, there's a built-in pencil sharpener. So what happens when this pencil's gone? I can use another pencil. The gift that keeps on giving. Perfect. So like I said, I've got some of those chevron patterns printed out. I'm just going to lightly trace them. I have decided not to erase the lines because of all the glare coming out and off the lighting. I hope you can see it, or at least be able to follow along once I start coloring. By now, I should be back to normal speed. I'm using nice computer paper coated for inkjets and laser printers with a blue and orange Tombow water-based ink pens, markers, whatever. And I'm coloring, and I believe this is a fail because of all the streaking, because the colors just overlap. They don't blend together when you put down multiple strokes. Here I will mention that when you put down too much ink on the paper, it starts tearing the paper, and that can be frustrating. Here I have a purple and yellow of the Derwent Inktense pencils. They go down nicely. You don't have to put down a lot of pigment to get a strong color, but I probably put down a little extra so that it would show up on the camera. Here I'm going to call watercolor pencils on nice computer paper fail because the water sat on top of the paper after I started activating the pigment and not all the pigment dissolved, no matter how hard I tried. Here I'm using Dr. P.H. Martin's watercolor paint on the nice computer paper, and I still call it a fail because the water sits on top of the paper and the paint looks a little blotchy because it's not soaking into the paper. Oopsie, you can't see what I'm doing. I'm using the water-based markers to create a gradient. Then I'm going to proceed to the pencils and then to the watercolor. I'll eventually have everything in frame so you can see what I'm doing. I'm using Strathmore Series 400 watercolor paper for this example. Here I'm using a sheet of Arches cold press watercolor paper just to goof off on. And in case you're saying don't do it, I've already done it and I'm not taking it back. I'm tracing the outline of a Celtic knot and some paisley decorations, and I'm going to experiment. And to be honest, I did go overboard and I put down a heck of a lot of layers, but I'm happy with the outcome because the water soaked into the paper like it was supposed to, and I wouldn't have been able to put so many layers down had this been regular paper of any type. You know, printer paper, cardstock, anything that's not watercolor paper. I will say here I trace the outlines with a watercolor pencil so that they would become part of the artwork and blend in. Do note that I did not trace the lines perfectly. That's not what I had intended to do. I wanted some element of randomness about the lines. That's what I was going for. And then I rediscovered that the Tombow pens were dual tipped and were able to use both ends of the pen to get good detail on the artwork. I thought it was so cool. here I became aware that I had no direction at all and just started putting color after color down. And it layered up really nice. And, if you're going to use watercolors, water-based mediums, use watercolor paper, and if you have to, use the best. The paper here is still wet as I'm trying to color on it, so I don't exactly get the effects that I want. So it just led me down a rabbit hole where I just put more and more and more and more and more on. Thank you for stopping by. I learned a lot from doing this project, and I hope you learned something too, so that we can all improve our art. Like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it. Share it because you know someone else wants to see it. Love y'all. Have a great day. Bye.